being able to operate at the scale that we do and be able to serve the people and the amount of people that we do is amazing and speaks volumes to, the dedication of our volunteers, because volunteers do everything from receiving those donations, advertising for donations, also collecting them, weighing them, putting them on our shelves, to actually handing them out to our clients. They do a tremendous amount of background work that not many people know of, especially when they actually visit our pantry, because of how well run it is by students.
Howdy, Aggs, and welcome back to On Air with Student Affairs, the podcast that showcases all the ways you can create your Aggie experience right here at Texas A&M. I'm your host, Morgan Miles, and I am the loudest and the proudest member of the Fightin' Texas Aggie class of 2026. Hey. Whoop! And today, I am here with Alexa, Hilary, and Mazie of the 12th Can. How are y'all?
Good. Thank y'all for having us.
Of course. I'm so excited to have y'all on. So just to start off, can I get your name again, your major and your hometown, and your role at the 12th Can?
Absolutely. My name is Mazie, Mazie Johnson, and I'm the executive director of the 12th Can this year. So basically my role, I work in overseeing our exec team. We have 10 execs. Alexa and Hilary are on our team, and our associate director, Mahek Ali. And we provide the resources, guidance, and anything that our execs need for that. And then we also work with external partners, donors, administrators, and growing those relationships, and basically focusing on the big picture of our organization. But I'm a business honors and management pre-law major from Rockwall, Texas, and I'm a junior this year. So
I'm Hilary. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm a biomedical sciences major, class of 26. I'm the public relations director for the 12th Can. In my role, I oversee all public relations, basically. So like filming this and our social media, our website, and all that stuff to make sure our members and our clients are aware of everything that's going on in the 12th Can.
Howdy, my name is Alexa Fry. I am a senior, so class of 25. I am a biochemistry and genetics double major. I also have a minor in statistics, so a lot of work.
Oh my gosh.
I am from Boerne, Texas, which is a little town outside of San Antonio. And I work as the operations director for the 12th Can. In my role, I do a lot of software and communication with clients. So I run our pantry software. That's how we keep track of all of our clients' information, such as their demographics, and also how they make appointments with us to actually come into the pantry. I do a few other things within the pantry as well, such as our hygiene room. We give out hygiene items. And working with our Pantry Bros team. That's a subsection of the 12th Can, where we do a lot of on-site work with our pantry.
Awesome. So let's talk about a little bit about what is the 12th Can and how did you guys get involved?
So the 12th Can is our on-campus food pantry here at A&M. We serve all students, faculty, and staff. All of our Aggies are welcome in our pantry. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, but we're also a student organization. So all of our exec team are all students at A&M. All of our volunteers are students here. And our mission is to eliminate hunger at A&M, but also to raise awareness for food insecurity across college campuses because it is a growing issue. We also really try to embody the Aggie spirit just in the way that we're serving selflessly and loving our Aggie family. So we're open every other week on Wednesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And that's where all of our Aggies can come into the pantry and receive food from us. And we really try to make it a grocery store-like experience. It's called a client choice model food pantry. And so we really want our clients to feel as comfortable as possible. And that's really our main priority there, providing this food where it feels normal. It's a friendly atmosphere where everyone is welcome, and we try to provide a lot of variety so you can find what you want to eat at the pantry. And so it's been just a great journey to get here. But yeah.
Wow, that's really awesome. I think that's a great way to help students out on campus. I love it. So can you tell me, each of you, a little bit of how you found out about the 12th CAN, how you got involved with the 12th CAN?
So I was actually introduced to volunteering with food banks when I was 7 years old, through my church in San Antonio. From that experience, I have then worked with food banks through my high school career, helping recruit them from my high school. And then when I wanted to go to college, I wanted to continue that. And so when I was looking for colleges and looking for student organizations to join, when I actually chose Texas A&M University, I was really excited to see an organization that actually had their own food bank on campus. And so I thought that was a wonderful opportunity to do that. And so the first chance I had, my first semester, I joined the 12th CAN. I'm really excited to be a part of the 12th CAN through my entire undergraduate career. It's been an amazing experience because I've gotten to see it grow so much. When I first joined, we had, I believe, 3 rooms, and now we have almost 6 or 7 different rooms that we have in our building. So it's been an amazing experience to be a part of it.
Wow.
Yeah, similar to Alexa, I started volunteering at the Houston Food Bank a little bit before high school. I was a junior volunteer, like my high school. That was like their leadership program, Student Heroes. And I think on one of my Saturday shifts, I believe the 12th CAN had come to volunteer at the Houston Food Bank. And I was like looking at A&M for college. So that was really exciting. They were like, you should definitely join. And I was like, oh. And so I thought back to that, like when I got to A&M, and I was like, the 12th CAN. And I think I saw us bannering on campus, and I was like, I know that name. And so that's how I found out about the 12th CAN. But yeah, food insecurity is something that's really near and dear to my heart. And so I'm super, super excited to just be a part of this mission and help like expand our impact. And like what Alexa was saying, when I joined my freshman year, the pantry was like nothing or not as like big as what it is today. And it's so, so inspiring to see like how it's grown in the past 3 years. And I'm excited to see like what it becomes in the future.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Really similar to Alexa and Hilary, I served in food pantries growing up before college. And so when I came to A&M, I went to an info meeting for the 12th CAN during Howdy Week, my first semester, my freshman year. And I absolutely fell in love with the mission. There's something about serving in a food pantry, like Hilary said, food insecurity is really personal mission for me. And I also am very passionate about education. And so I think all of us as college students know the power of education and what our degrees mean for our careers, for our lives going forward. And so being a part of the 12th CAN and really getting to alleviate that emotional and physical burden of food insecurity so that all of our Aggies, our students, our faculty and staff can do what they do best on campus, whether that's working or research or, attending class and earning their degree. To be a part of that mission, I knew just even coming into A&M how important that would be because we all know what it means to be here. And so we want to make sure that all of our students, faculty, and staff have that same opportunity.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of the 12th CAN and like how it got started, and then kind of like transition us into like how it's doing now, like how far it's come throughout the years?
So the 12th CAN was actually founded in 2013. We recently celebrated our 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait, that's not that long ago. Wait.
Yes. The first opening, I believe we served 7 clients. Only 7 walked through that door. Since then, we've made several partnerships. We've made partnerships with Rosenthal Meats. We still get our meats from there. That was one of our first ones we made. We're also an agency partner with Brazos Valley Food Bank. And they provide us food so we can purchase food from them at lower prices to help fill our storages. We also report demographic statistics to them to get a better gauge of who our audience is, who is actually using our services. We also have expanded a lot more. So as I mentioned, my freshman year, we had, I believe, two or three spaces. Now we have upwards like 6 or 7 spaces. That includes fridge and freezers that we have now. Awesome. We used to not have those. Now we're actually able to give out like produce and fridge freezer items like eggs, milk, cheese. And we have a whole new backspace. So that's what we actually use for storage now. we can like backstock all of our things instead of having to stuff our pantry as full as we can and then worry about storage spaces. We also have our newly partnerships with HEB.
Oh.
This is our most new partnership. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Our executive director has some special, exciting news on that. We have also had partnerships with Amazon for the past 2 years as well.
Awesome.
They've given us very large donations in not only food items, but also monetary donations. And also household items, which we now offer because we have a hygiene room now too. So we can give like deodorants, even soaps and cleaning supplies, as well as baby items too. So we have grown tremendously, and then we've increased the amount of clients that we serve tremendously as well.
Mm-hmm.
COVID was a huge growth period for us.
Yeah.
I think we jumped almost 200 clients, like an average of 200 clients per opening. Now we're averaging close to 300 clients per opening. So that's within 2 days' time that we're receiving that many individuals coming through.
Wow. So how do you think COVID like impacted the 12th Can? Because you said you went from like a few clients to like over 200 at opening. Like, why do you think COVID made that like that?
So I actually volunteered during the time of COVID, not with the 12th Can, but with several other food banks, and we also saw jumps like that. I believe it's just the emergency status that people have. Like the economy crashed. A lot of people weren't able to afford food.
Mm-hmm.
Supply lines were messed up. So even if they could afford it, they may not have access to it.
Right.
Also during COVID, a lot of students were struggling as well. It's very hard to afford college and be able to feed yourself with nutritious food items at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's really important to recognize that, not everybody does have the same opportunities as everybody else to like get access to nutritious foods, like you said. So I kind of want to talk about like what ways can we break the stigma around like hunger and like things like that. Like I know there's such a big stigma of like, I don't want to use the word embarrassing, but I think someone maybe can feel like, oh, like I don't want to go to the food bank because like, I don't want people to think like, you don't want people to think things about you, but like why, or like what's a way to like break the stigma of that, you think?
Absolutely. So that's something that we're constantly thinking about at the 12th Can. Our focus is on our clients, and so our priority is to make our clients feel as comfortable as possible. And that's something that we constantly have in the back of our mind of wanting our clients to feel welcome, not judged, and we really want the grocery store experience because we want to normalize that it's okay to come to the pantry.
Yeah.
The only difference is where you're getting your food. It's the same food. It's the same process. It's just a matter of location. And so we do that in a variety of ways. We do want to protect our clients and their privacy and their anonymity if that's what they prefer. So we don't take any photos and we have unlabeled bags for our clients. And so there's no 12th Can branding because we want it to be normal and we want them to feel comfortable coming and that we're not going to make them feel like an outsider because that's what we're all about is providing this service so that they can operate and be as successful as any other student, faculty, or staff member. And so that's one of the ways that we really try to focus on reducing that stigma and then also making food more available and really having these conversations, understanding what food insecurity really is and how common it is so that our students, faculty, and staff are not feeling alone. And I think also one of the things that we've seen at our pantry is also this community that's built there of, we have friends that come in together and, our volunteers have relationships with our clients. And so having that really safe space, but also, having those fun conversations to make it a more friendly atmosphere really helps with kind of the whole experience and taking that first step into saying like, I'm going to go to the 12th Can.
Right. That's absolutely beautiful. I love that you go out of your way to like make sure everybody feels welcome. And I don't know, I just really love that. That's wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about food insecurity. I know you brought that up. What is food insecurity, first of all, for people that don't know? And then how many students and staff does it affect on this campus?
So food insecurity, the definition that's used today is that it's a unreliable access to nutritionally valued food. So particularly on reliability and the nutritious value of them. So a lot of people, they might have access to food, but they might be at a less nutrition value for them. So items that college students typically eat, I would be considered labeled as not as nutritionally dense as some other foods, but also the reliable access to it. We've had reports, so we do surveys at the end of every semester or so, and one of our questions is actually, do you skip meals in order to make your food last? And we do actually have reports of students and people that use our services who have to skip meals in order to make their food last through the month. And that is, or unfortunately, a really sad reality for a lot of people. And being hungry in class is not ideal for a lot of students. It affects, there's several studies saying it actually affects the way students learn.
Yeah.
And so we really try to provide that accessibility and that consistency for these students, especially students that have families or staff that have families, because those are more mouths to feed on potentially a paycheck that may not be able to get them that consistency.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I think it's really great that like y'all go out of y'all's way to make sure the students don't feel judged and like ashamed for like having to come to the food pantry, because I think kind of like you said, like there's survey studies that show that like there are people that have to skip meals, and like maybe just like having that friendly conversation with them or like having that relationship with those volunteers like may make them feel better about what they're doing, because there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. And so I think that's a great way, one, to break the stigma, but also to like raise awareness of like food insecurity. And so what do you feel like is the heart behind this organization? Obviously, I kind of want to talk about our core values too, because I feel like there's a ton of selfless service in this organization. So like tell us a little bit about the heart, and then how you feel like our core values really tie into the 12th can.
It's gotta be our members. Our members are like selfless servants, in my opinion. They dedicate 10 hours minimum of their semester to volunteering in the pantry, 1 hour a month at the bare minimum. And so they are like the reason we're able to be open those 2 days, like bi-weekly openings from 10 to 4:30. Without them, we wouldn't be able to operate. We wouldn't be able to sort foods. We wouldn't be able to like check clients in and manage the hygiene room and fridge and freezer room and have one person in the pantry at all times and have people restocking. It just would not be possible without them.
Yeah.
They're the ones who build those connections with clients. I was just in the pantry yesterday for our March opening. And so there was this one member, and me and her are always there at the same time. And there's this one client that comes in every Thursday. He's like our regular. We talk about him. And he's like, we just have conversations with him. Like the week before, it was like spring break. That was the week before. And he's like, what are y'all doing for spring break? And we just started talking about our plans. And then yesterday he came up and caught up with us, and he was like, so how was like the concert you went to, or how was like this? And it was like those kind of things. Like it makes the environment so nice. And we wouldn't be able to have that without our members. And we love our clients so much. And so having like members that are equally like motivated and just like, who are motivated to make those and build those like connections and relationships with clients and make them feel comfortable. That's the heart of our organization, I feel.
Yeah. And how do you feel like that's like inspired y'all to like keep doing what you're doing? Like, because I know y'all said y'all been doing this since y'all were really young. Like that's obviously got to be like very impactful and like make you want to stay involved with what you're doing.
Yes, definitely. One thing that I really try to emphasize in this organization, which I think is so impressive, is that this organization is completely student run. So we're actually, as Mazie was talking about, a independent nonprofit, but we have no paid staff. Many food banks that I've worked at, and I haven't heard of any other food banks that don't have paid staff. But just being able to operate at the scale that we do and be able to serve the people and the amount of people that we do is amazing and speaks volumes to, the dedication of our volunteers, because volunteers do everything from receiving those donations, advertising for donations, also collecting them, weighing them, putting them on our shelves, to actually handing them out to our clients. They do a tremendous amount of background work that not many people know of, especially when they actually visit our pantry, because of how well run it is by students. And none of our student leaders receive payments as well, so they do all of this through their belief in the mission and their ability and encouragement to keep into the organization and be a part of the community. But it's been an amazing time. I love getting to engage with the clients, being able to see the work that we're doing, especially those that might be struggling to like feed their families while they study. Because, they're working to make an income to support their families, but we provide a way that they can do it while they're studying and while they're trying to reach those goals. So being able to give them those support measurements and those essential items for them to actually reach the goals that they set forth to them for themselves and their families is an amazing process. Is you get to see them throughout their career if they continue to come to the pantry.
Absolutely. It sounds like a wonderful thing to really be involved in, and it seems like it's just impacted all of y'all so much. So I want to kind of ask, how can students that are maybe listening to this and thinking like, oh, this is really cool, I really want to get involved, like what's the best way to like contact y'all and like get involved with the 12th Can? And then also, why should students want to get involved? Like what's your why?
Absolutely. So obviously all three of us are very passionate about the 12th Can as an organization. And it's had such a great impact on us individually and our personal lives. And then also just great leadership experience, service experience. And so the easiest way to get involved is definitely to donate. We partner with a variety of student organizations, individuals, through food drives, but there are also super fun initiatives that we can do, like creating hygiene bags or other things like that. And in fact, our SEC food fight is coming up in April. And so that's a friendly competition where we compete against the other SEC schools to see who can raise the most food and hygiene items. And so we are really excited. We started participating a few years ago. And this past year, we placed third. And so
wow.
We are very pleased with that. But we know we can do better, and our Aggies are going to support that. And so we actually partnered with the Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life last year and really loved the support that we got from the fraternities and sororities. And it was just
I was about
amazing.
to say, I remember doing that.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember our sorority doing that. And they were like, it was so funny. They were like on stage drink after they were yelling at us. They were like, guys, like you have to bring all your food and you have to bring your hygiene items.
Yes.
It was just so funny. We just turned it into like this big competition. It was great.
No, and I love it. I mean, Aggies can be competitive. And so we love to see the competitive nature coming through, especially when we're not only competing against ourselves, but against some of the other universities in the SEC. So we're really excited to be partnering with OFSL again. And then also a lot of the flows will be participating among other student organizations that are also donating. And so donating is definitely our biggest help. And then also there are financial ways to donate where we contribute to other aspects of our operations. But there's also easier ways to interact with us. We're on campus tabling and we are on social media. Hilary runs our social media. And so just interacting with us, we love to share our mission and everything about that. And then we also are exploring options to allow the rest of our Aggies here at A&M to volunteer with us more in person. And so we will be releasing information about that here pretty soon. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah. Is there any way for anyone to become a member of the 12th Can?
Absolutely. So we release our applications at the start of every semester. It's during the first couple weeks of the semester. Okay. And it's a really simple application and interview process. And our volunteers are wonderful. And you really get, as a volunteer, that, behind the scenes look that Alexa was talking about. You get to work in the pantry, a lot of more service opportunities and opportunities for leadership within the organization. And that's, I think, what makes, like Hilary was saying, our organization so unique is all of these servant-hearted leaders that are wanting to work in our pantry and really makes that friendly atmosphere and that connection with our clients possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and then one thing I would like to add on that.
Yeah.
So we do have dues to join as a member for our organization, but we do know that can be a barrier for some individuals to join us. So we do offer scholarships for that as well.
Oh, wow.
So if you are unable to pay for that or have issues paying it, we will actually cover it for you. So that shouldn't be a barrier if you have a heart for service and a heart for food insecurity to join us.
I love that. Y'all are so servant-hearted. Y'all are eating right now. It's like you're giving and then you're giving again. I love it. So how can Aggies help or like spread awareness about food insecurity? Like what's the best way for just all of us to just really play our part in it?
I would say also understanding what food insecurity is, being able to, like Alexa was saying, understand what that definition is and how to like really look out for it. And then as we also understanding how common it is. And so, we think 1 in 5 college students are struggling with food insecurity. And so, a lot of students in your class are going to be struggling with food insecurity. And so it's not quite as rare a problem as I think many of our students think. And I think a lot of our volunteers, even in our execs, coming into A&M were surprised by how prevalent this issue is. And so by being aware that food insecurity is an issue at Texas A&M first is, the most important thing. And then looking for ways to really get involved by donating, by joining the 12th Can, or even by just other ways to get involved in this mission of supporting our students would be great ways to kind of raise awareness for that.
Yeah. Just to piggyback what Mazie said, I would say that food insecurity is one of like those silent problems. Like you never know if the person sitting next to you in class or like your TA in a lab or something is struggling to find their next meal. They don't know where it's going to come from. And so just being aware of that like definitely helps.
Yeah.
Yes, and one thing to point out actually is that a lot of our members actually use our services. So that is a great way to get involved, but also learn about it. You can still use our services even if you want to volunteer with us. It's not uncommon to do so. And just really being able to talk about it and learn about it. We have stickers sometimes. I know we just got a whole bunch of merchandise. So even just supporting us in that way and just showing them to your friends, getting our logo and our name out there and just awareness to their fellow students.
Absolutely. That's so awesome. I love it. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Tell us about your partnership with HEB.
Yes. Love this question. So this is absolutely a game changer for our organization. You can see kind of the relief and joy on all of our faces as we talk about it. But kind of some background on our internal operations is we receive food from donations, our lovely donors. Very happy to partner with many organizations that donate. And then also we receive food from Brazos Valley Food Bank, BVFB, as an agency partner. And so, but because those are both kind of, we get a wide variety of things and it's not exactly a reliable resource, we have to supplement by purchasing other food. And so we purchase from grocery stores like HEB, and primarily we're purchasing perishable items. We offer, like Alexa mentioned, fridge and freezer items, milk, eggs, cheese, frozen fruits and vegetables, frozen meats, and then also bread. But, if we don't receive something from BVFB or donations like peanut butter, we need peanut butter in our pantry. So we're going to purchase that through a grocery store. And so previously, as we've grown, it used to be more sustainable, but what we used to do before HEB partnership is we would place HEB curbside orders for thousands of dollars worth of our orders. Gosh. And then we would send about 6 to 8 of our vehicles to HEB curbside, load up those cars and go back to the pantry. And so when we were serving 7 clients an opening, when we were first established, that was a little bit more manageable. And so now we've just seen, our numbers skyrocket. And since COVID, they've grown, and they continue to grow. And so we realized that this was no longer sustainable for our operations. Multiple orders a week doing curbside.
Yeah.
I know HEB was also struggling with the size of our orders and doing curbside. And so through the work of our team, our Chief Pantry Director, Gabriella Peterson, we were able to partner with HEB Wholesale. So now HEB will be sending refrigerated trucks with all of our items to our pantry.
Insane.
Yes. It's definitely alleviating a lot of the burden on our exec team, especially for using our personal vehicles. There were, spills in our cars, or even just, my car's kind of small, so I could only fit so much of it. Yeah. And so being able to have our volunteers on site ready to receive that order takes a lot of the time away. And it also gives all of us a lot of hope that this is a more sustainable process. We'll be able to grow our orders even more now that we have kind of this level of operations. And so as we increase our clients, more and more Aggies are coming to use our services. We're able to provide more and more food. So
that is so freaking cool.
We're so excited.
How often are y'all going to have like loads come in, do you think?
So it used to be that we would have to have multiple curbside runs every other week when we had our openings. And so now it's going to be one order every other week. But it's about at least 5 pallets worth of food that we're receiving.
Yeah. So the mail services building is a big help to us because they do have like a warehouse setup for these big trucks to come in. They even trained us in the lifts to help us with the pallets, which is very appreciative. But this makes a huge difference. The Pantry Bros team, which works a lot in the pantry, and a lot of the other execs are super excited to have this happen because, as Mazie said, we have had spills in our cars. I feel like discovered new limitations to my vehicle
in size
and weight in which it can carry. And so it's an amazing partnership. And it's been amazing also because we also buy all of our hygiene items from HEB as well, if they were not donated. So our ability to stock that room as well with items such as deodorant, shampoos, soaps, even items such as can openers, because that's a big thing that our clients need as well. And baby items, we're able to purchase in bulk from them now.
That's so sweet. I love that. Also, I didn't want to skip over this part because I think it's obviously very important. Where is the pantry? Where can students find the pantry?
We're on agronomy, 330, right, guys?
Yes.
Okay, 330 agronomy. It's like where the GSC is and where Build is on that same street. You can take bus 6 to get there. That's the 12-man bus. And then, we're open.
I'm pretty sure.
Should be the 12-man bus. Or you can just drive there. We have like 30-minute parking in the mail services building. But it's over on West Campus.
Wait, yay. Now you know.
And it's bus route 6, the vet school stop.
Okay.
So you'll have to walk a small distance to the mail services building, but it's like less than a block.
Wait, love. Okay. So now we know where it's located. So is there a way to become a client or can you just show up? Like, what does that look like?
So there's several good ways there's several options to become a client. So that's a very good question. So to become a client, you can either come into our pantry during our opening hours and just be a walk-in client. So if you're a walk-in, we'll have you scan a QR code that then allows you to make an account with us through PantrySoft. And so what that account does, it essentially takes your name, maybe a few demographic information such as your address, race, ethnicity, if you choose to give us that information, and your age. All of that information is protected under PantrySoft. I believe I am one of the only execs that actually has access to it. So my position, so it's very secure. And from that, then you will be registered into our software and we'll get you set up from there. But you can actually sign up yourself through PantrySoft without ever coming to the pantry. So if you wanted to make an appointment early or you wanted to register before you came into the pantry, you can go to our website online. Hilary actually redesigned it this year, so it looks very, very nice. And from there, you can go to our PantrySoft link, and you'll just fill out that same form. So once you are a client in our system, then you can actually sign up for appointments. So if you just walk in, you'll get a prepackaged bag of food. So that's essentially a large amount of, I believe it's about 25 pounds bag of non-perishable items. So that's going to include like your canned goods, maybe some dried rice, that kind of thing. And then you can also get fridge freezer items and your choice of items in the hygiene room. But if you make an appointment, so our appointments open the Fridays before every opening from 3 o'clock to 3:30 p.m. Is when they open around that time. And so if you get an appointment, it is very competitive, unfortunately. We're working on growth in that area. But if you are able to get an appointment, you can then go into our pantry and do the walk-in. So you would have the client choice model that we mentioned earlier. So you can actually go into our pantry, pick your items. You're also going to receive a 25-pound bag capacity bag. So whatever you choose to take in our pantry and that fits in that bag, you can take in addition to your fridge freezer items and your hygiene items. But from there, it's a pretty easy process. Once you're all set up and you have a appointment made and you have your accounts filled out, all you have to do is you can make an appointment or you can just walk in and we'll sign you in and then you're on your way.
That's awesome. Good information to know. Y'all are so busy. Y'all have to be extremely busy. I can't even imagine. Everything y'all talked about, you're like, oh yeah, I do this, and she redesigned the website and does this. Like, oh my goodness. So what does it look like for y'all to be involved in this? And then I'm sure y'all are involved in other things. And if so, I'd love to hear about it. Like, how do you balance the time between the two?
Mazie, do you want to start? I know you're involved with quite a lot on campus.
I would say that, so I'm also involved in some other organizations on campus, including the Student Government Association. I serve on the executive cabinet this year, which has been such a great experience as well. Particularly with SGA, the 12th CAN is an executive committee under SGA. And so we have a great relationship with our SGA student leaders. And that's just been really important, I think, and I'm sure Hilary and Alexa could probably say the same, is a lot of the other organizations we're involved in have also supported the 12th CAN. And that's really great to see, is everyone that we talk to about our mission just really wants to get involved. And so we've received a lot of support from our SGA leadership, our student body president, Kate Coppinger, and then also the other executive committees. And so I think it almost balances and complements each other in our student involvement. And then I've also been a part of class councils and similar strides in that area of our class presidents really being very supportive and other student leaders. And so I think it can be difficult being in an organization, and especially one as time consuming and with this mission that we all care so much about and is really important. But having all that support from our classes and our classmates, our professors, and then our student organizations has been really inspiring and really encouraging as we continue to fight food insecurity on campus.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, to start off with, the pressure we feel is a privilege. I have to say that to myself all the time. I feel like it gets like super busy. Like right now is really busy for me, like with the all the scheduling with my classes and the pantry and everything. But it's like, I signed up for this. And so it's like, and people, the Aggies need to get their food. You know, the ones who rely on us, they need to get their food. There's like no option. Yeah. But yeah, I love to repeat that to myself all the time.
I love that. I've never heard anybody say that. I'm going to start telling myself that.
The pressure you feel is a privilege. But yeah, I'm involved in like Vietnamese Student Association also. I do research outside of A&M. And then I TA for some classes. So there's a bunch of things. But it's a really nice, like the 12 CAN is like a really nice balance for me between like left and right brain kind of. Because I'm like, science is on one side and then like PR and just 12 CAN is a whole different side of my brain. So like I'll go to the pantry whenever I have time between classes and I'll just like sit there and like flip all the cans and make them face like the labels in the front to make them look cute. And it's just like a really, really nice balance in between everything. Yeah. So
it's probably like a good break in between because like it sounds like you're doing like a lot of like sciencey things. So break between like science and math and then like just being able to like come in and like know you're doing something good.
Exactly. So it's like just a nice way to like de-stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, so I'm towards the end of my undergraduate career, but I was an officer. I was actually the public relations director before this, so I'm very glad Hilary is taking over now, and she's done a great job with it. But my junior year, that was my biggest year last year. I was a junior advisor for the University Honors Program, as well as the public relations director. In the University Honors Program, I mentored students. I mentored both sophomores and freshmen honors students. And through that, I taught them like how to teach classes, through just life difficulties that freshmen might have. But what I really enjoyed about the program, I was in that program my freshman, sophomore, and junior year. And they, like Mazie was saying, they had wonderful support for the 12th Can. Our directors and our higher ups in the launch office did a lot of promotional work for the 12th Can. They actually were a huge help with another event that we have, which is Swipe Out Hunger. A lot of freshman students often have meal swipes left over at the end of the semester that would just, kind of lose money.
Yeah.
And so I was actually able to use my role in that position to promote it to these freshmen.
Yeah.
So they were actually able to donate those extra meal swipes at the end of the semester to the 12th Can so that we can then distribute them to students that may have used up their meal plan and they can't buy more.
Right.
And so being able to give and take from both of those positions and find level ground between them is amazing. I also had several freshmen that I taught that ended up joining the 12th Can.
Oh, wow.
I talked about it a lot in my classes about how to get involved on campus, how to find community, which the 12th Can definitely does have. And so I'm really happy to see some of those faces that I originally taught working their way into the 12th Can. Hilary was actually one of my first freshmen.
And then I want to say Ethan was also
Ethan, yes, he was
finance
one of my
director.
freshmen. And Gabby. Gabby was also involved in the honors program. We have several students that were in the honors program that have worked their way into the 12th Can and other positions within the university. I think there's some in student government as well that I taught, and a few others in the Corps and Fish Camp, a couple other different organizations. But it's been wonderful to see them grow. It's also been wonderful to see just the people that I was involved with, 12th Can, grow as well into those organizations and even leave it to go to other universities and their jobs. I'm actually really excited. At the moment, I'm working on my thesis project for my graduation. And working on the remaining things I have to go to pharmacy school after this. But it's been amazing. I love using my free time to go to the 12th Can to be involved and give that time back to people. Because I've had such a huge and beneficial time here at A&M with being involved in the 12th Can and getting all the support I've gotten. And so I love being able to give that back to them, especially right before I'm about to start a new journey after graduation.
Absolutely. So y'all are at such different, obviously, stages of life, and you're about to graduate, and y'all are still going through your undergrad. So what's your advice for students wanting to get involved, not only in the 12th Can, but just at A&M in general, whether it's their freshman year or their senior year, and they're like, I didn't do anything. What can I do before I leave? What's your advice?
They should most definitely get involved. It's actually, what I tell my freshmen is they should always join 3 organizations if they can, if they have the time for it. So a professional organization just for promotion of yourself, maybe a hobby organization, and a service organization, because all of those will give you a sense of community on campus.
Yeah.
And whatever organization you choose to join, whether that's student government, Fish Camp, Impact, a cultural organization like Hilary's a part of, or just one that does service, it's an amazing opportunity to get involved with it and be able to produce a legacy or just have a good time on campus and be connected with the A&M alumni and just the students that you're here with.
Yeah.
And I would also add that, coming into Texas A&M, one of the things that I was most nervous about was the size of the university, which is such a benefit in so many ways, but very intimidating coming in as a freshman. And I mentioned that 12th Can was one of the first organizations I joined. And I'm a big believer, like Alexa said, in joining organizations to find your community. It's the easiest way to make a big university feel small.
Absolutely.
And to find your closest friends. And I've truly found that through the 12th Can. And also, all Aggies have our core values. And so it's all the organizations just execute them differently. And so you're going to find your people in what other organization you join. And like Alexa mentioned, service organizations are also a great thing to prioritize. I know for me, between classes and other organizations and also, looking for internships and things like that, it can be difficult to prioritize service. And so being a part of an organization that has that factored in just makes it easier, because I know Aggies care about service. And so making it easier on yourself by joining an organization that provides hours or provides opportunities like the 12th Can is a great way to make that a priority.
Yes. Okay.
I was going to say, I feel like joining orgs is like the best way to make friends on campus. It's like in high school, you had class with like the same like 20 people every day, right?
Right.
And it's like, no, in college, you see these kids, like the people sitting next to you Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or like Tuesday, Thursday, or if y'all like study after class. And then the chance of you seeing them like next semester, if y'all aren't like the
It's,
same
like,
major,
very
it's like
slim.
slim to none. Exactly. And so like the friends in the 12 Can that I've made, they have been constant like throughout my like 3 years here. And so it's really nice. I feel like that's one of the best ways to make community. And then like Alexa said, leave your impact on A&M. It doesn't have to be a big impact, but knowing that you made, like for me, like, oh, that's probably like the 12 Can expanding for like the 4 years that I'll be here. Like that is such like a nice thing to just think about,
Yeah.
Most definitely. What I really like about the 12th Can is we're not just one major too. So I have met people from across disciplines in this organization. I've met people in the economics, in the sciences, in the arts, all kinds of different majors. And it gives you different perspectives when you're talking about them and making new friends. Not everybody knows what they want to do after college.
That's real.
And so being able to talk to people outside of that organization or outside of your own major is really beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank y'all so much for coming on. This was so fun. I'm so glad y'all got to come on and talk about the 12th Can. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been a blast.
Yes, we have loved it.
For more information on how to get involved through the Division of Student Affairs, go to text.ag/createyouraggie-experience. And you can find this podcast on all streaming platforms or wherever you watch your podcasts. Thanks and gig 'em.